Blair Witch.
Yes.
Megan. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys will probably remember, like back in the 90s, the Blair Witch Project came out. I
absolutely
thought it was real because
I did too.
I was quite young.
They built it up that way.
Yep. And I was quite young, and I remember being terrified for years, thinking that this witch was going to come and find me and pull me from my bed. And obviously none of that happened, but kind of crummy how the cast was treated. I think I had heard a long time ago, and I think we've actually mentioned it on the podcast before. I guess I understood that they were somewhat abused, but I think I misinterpreted what that abuse was. It was based off of the article that we read, which we should definitely link on our site if we have not.
Yes.
It wasn't so much physical abuse. It sounds like they all kind of signed up and knew that they were going to do this independent film, and they were taught how to run all of this stuff, and it was pretty authentic, and they did a really good job. But where they were mistreated is when it comes down to what did they earn off of that, which was nothing.
And then their likenesses continue to be used for nothing.
Especially with some of the reboots that are being talked about, and they've asked them not to include them in that, and they continue to do so, and I just think that that's really crummy. I get it, because when you're you're an actor, you want to do something, you want to be a part of something that's going to help build your portfolio. So I definitely don't think it's an embarrassment that they ended up in this situation. I know that they seem to think they feel that way.
Sure.
But if it were me, I probably would have done the same thing. They just had no idea what they were walking into.
Right. They had no power to negotiate, really.
Yeah.
Well, and that's
someone else would have just done it.
Yeah. That's the problem, is the studio knew that.
Yeah.
And they take gambles like that all the time. And if something goes big, well, screw the actor. We got our money, And I think that's wrong, because
we phrase the contract just right.
They should go back and make it right. I'm not going to watch anything Blair Witch related until I make it right for those people.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, that picture of the girl's face, like with the the beanie and kind of like the
her
top,
likeness,
portion of that's used on all their marketing.
Yeah.
Because that's the only one that's been successful, really.
Yeah.
They had the second one, which is really nutty, and it was not found footage.
Stupid.
It was almost like a different movie. They just slapped Blair Witch on it.
It was like a movie about
the case.
It was like a movie about Blair Witch or something.
What was promising is when they made the follow up, which I think it did feature. I don't know if it featured her. Definitely old footage, but it was her brother looking for her.
Yes, they did talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that was interesting to me, because that was like a direct sequel, really, it felt like. But yeah, that first one, I just showed it to my kids. Well, I started showing it to my older kid, and the other ones kind of joined in, and then my wife ruined it because she's part of the bandwagon. Like, that's not scary. So, but my oldest thought it was scary. My whole thing was
because
I mean, once the marketing campaign was great, but not great for the actors, because I mean, they were broke. They were struggling, and they couldn't even say they were a part of this, and they had to deny because they
couldn't do press for it,
because they really did sell that concept. Like, this is because the internet wasn't what it is now. You couldn't just go out and check this out.
But like, given what they had the internet, what the internet was capable of at the time, they still had like a mock-up website and all this other stuff.
They brilliantly used the internet for the day,
right? By the time I saw it, I think it pretty much came out that it was like fictional, but there was still a lingering possibility it could have been based off something real.
I think they even went it. I was working at a video store. I was working at Video Update at the time when it came out. But I think even on the home video release, they, like at the very end of the credits, they had to add a disclaimer that said this is a complete work of fiction.
Yeah.
Or, something like the, the blurb they do, where it's like any, likeness or reference to people living or dead is unintentional or whatever it is. But when it came out in theaters, everyone was like, holy shit.
It definitely was a once in a lifetime.
The only other movie I can think of that had that kind of like, oh my god factor was Cannibal Holocaust. Like people thought that like the actors were like actually like what's his name, Deodato, the director. He actually got put on trial for murder.
Jesus.
Because
Really?
they thought that he actually killed the actors in it.
Oh.
Wow.
And they had to have the actors come to court and be like, no,
as witnesses.
This is how we did the effects.
They should have negotiated that shit. Like, I will say it's fake, but you're gonna pay me some money.
I think the other thing
really.
that it had to its advantage, and I know we're supposed to be talking about the actors, is that there was witchcraft involved, and that's, if you don't practice it, I mean, that's kind of a scary territory.
Yeah.
It's definitely frightened me.
Yeah.
I still think about, it's burned in my brain, that moment where the gentleman is facing the wall.
Yes.
And he's standing up, and then, the camera gets knocked over. It's still in here. I still see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more psychological, which I always appreciated about it. I mean, seeing it, over and over again, obviously it'll diminish each time, but I don't know. I just... I don't want to go camping after I see that film.
No.
I mean, at least not
God, no.
that
in
day.
The woods?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I try to tell my wife that. Well, imagine this happening to you. You go out in the woods and you're going a full circle all the time. You're lost. There's no way out. And they played off of newer tech with the last Blair Witch. I think they had a drone and they shot it clear in the air and it malfunctioned or something, of course. It was kind of an intriguing. That had the most chance, but this one, it really should have been a one and done. And these actors definitely deserved more than they got, and
Sorry, I mean, they did get a little bit of compensation, but not what it accumulated.
It wasn't
over
equitable
time.
for
No.
Yeah.
And I don't really feel like they're asking for. I think it vaguely mentioned that they are still looking for a slight compensation.
Sure.
But I think the main point that they were trying to drive home is that they just don't want to continue to be used where you're profiting off.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Without
pay us what we're worth.
Right,
yeah, because we sold this sucker. I mean, it was a lot of ad-libbing, right? From their point of view.
I think it said in the article, it talked about how they gave him just generic storyline pieces. Yes, and then the rest of it was improv.
Right.
So when I found that out and thinking back about that movie and how they really truly did make it what it was.
Yeah.
You get, maybe it was a sentence and then they just filled in all the rest. Are you kidding
really
me?
Cool, yeah.
Well,
wow.
They legit got them lost in the woods too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was.
And they surprised them at night, didn't they, with attacks?
Yeah.
That's what I thought,
they come up and
but
shake.
They did not that's real fear, I think, mostly. Yeah. And this was this a People magazine article? I can't
Variety,
remember.
I believe.
Was it Variety?
I think it was Variety.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I found it. I mean, I definitely learned more. I read some of it too, and it's really sickening. And I hope I don't know. I hope someone will just do the right thing. All these, I think it was Artisan that put it out, and then Lionsgate bought them. It's hopefully they'll.
And they've talked to both and have not gotten a response from either.
Well, hell, they could have done they could still do a. It's not a movie, but they could do a documentary on the making of it.
I would watch that.
Take the actors out to the woods, and they can actually tell you what they were thinking at the time or something. That's a way to kind of get a little bit more money out of it.
Just the whole perspective from when they created it to where they are now in terms of the litigation. I think that would be. I would definitely watch that.
Yeah,
for sure.
There you go. There's another idea.
Well,
are we 3 for 3 today?
Probably.
3 for 3.
I mean, a lot of those
retrospective
documentaries are super popular now.
Yes,
they are.
They are. Yeah, I think that'd be a great idea. But
I don't think they don't want. I mean, I don't think the studio would want a documentary.
No. This is kind of
because it would
fans
really show
were in charge of shit.
Too bad.
Fans were right. Exactly.
It'd be
Sometimes
like
the truth hurts.
Blackfish. What Blackfish did for
SeaWorld.
Sure.
That's right.
Oh my god, that's another good documentary that lives in my brain.
Yeah.
So,
was there an elephant one too? Because remember, the circuses don't have any elephants anymore. I remember the last circus we went to here. They actually had protesters outside.
There was one on Barnum and Bailey or something like that.
So I was wondering,
I can't remember what it's called.
If that was a documentary helping that too. No, I don't think so.
The traveling one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Ringling Brothers.
Yep. That's where we went. They had the protesters outside, and we bring our kids in, and I don't know what to tell them.
Well, we used to go to the circus every year when I was little. I mean, the 70s though.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Right.
Like Siegfried and Roy, I think they had to significantly change their.
Especially after one of them got eaten.
Jesus, yeah.
Exactly.
I don't think they traveled,
he retired.
Though, right? They're
they were all
specific
Vegas.
to Vegas.
Yeah.
Not saying that makes it better, but...
No, but it's...
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah.
It's true.
Except for herpes. That should have followed you.
Oh my god.
Well, so how did the article end? I didn't get to that part. But it was optimistic, pretty much. I mean, they've moved on,
really.
right?
Yeah, they've moved
in a
on,
way,
but yeah,
as best as they can.
They're working with a union, and that they just ask that their likeness not be used anymore, and that they definitely, like you said, they've moved on from the experience.
Yeah.
And 2 out of the 3 are kind of out of the industry in general, and then 1 has kind of done stuff off and on, but
Is it the Donahue? Is she still in?
She's not.
No,
She's not, because she was. I remember she did pop up in a Freddie Prinze Jr. film after the Blair Witch, but that's all I saw of her.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think she's been years and years and years with.
But I mean, this happens all the time. It's just, I think it happened to be a movie that was hugely successful. But yeah, they'll get anybody in their early 20s or just young, they're going to take that chance. And then, of course, what hurts is like, oh my God, it's made so much. We're going to get so much money and nothing.
People that age that are just breaking in, they need good representation.
Absolutely.
To make sure they're not getting screwed.
Yeah.
And I think that's the other point they were trying to make, is they were saying, hey, even though you're young and you're in this industry, you should also look out for numero uno.
That should be the way it is, because pay it forward. Pay it forward.